All right, guys. Welcome to the Pitchfork podcast for April 23rd, 2021. If you guys like the screen, hit the like button, hit the share button. Make sure you let other people know that I run this podcast for you guys every day. Well, not every day. I've kind of changed the schedule a little bit. So I want to do a little bit of podcasting, a little bit of live shows, a little bit of just straight up uploads. So I'll be doing some live edits and also some videos on the side of things that I think that you guys would like. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to have a full show for you today. I'm going to do several live edits. I'm also going to be doing some talks with you guys. Also, as my boy Diesel Bomber has always pointed out, I've already got a downvote before the show even started. Diesel Bomber, laugh out loud. Already a downvote. Hasn't even started yet. Because bootlickers are going to bootlick. Diesel Bomber. Bootlickers are going to bootlick. Shout out to everybody who's watching me on Facebook, on Twitch, and also on YouTube, guys. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for giving me your love and your support. Without you guys, I wouldn't be anything. All right, I judge my content based on what my core fans think, not what trolls think. See, the core fans actually care about the content. Trolls don't. With that being said, though, let's get into the live show. Let's go ahead and get into the show. Let's not delay. Let's not waste any time. All right, so let's go ahead and change our window capture up here. New tab. Bam. All right, so we're going to be covering several stories in the honor of my boy Diesel Bomber. We're going to be covering some local stories from Seattle and also from Washington State. So let's go to the Seattle Times. Now I'm going to be catching up some stories without necessarily pre-planning, because I want you guys to show you just how easy it is to find stories if you just look, right? If you just look. So we're going to open that story. Yeah, there's a few stories that I see here that I'm definitely going to be covering. So here's one that I'm definitely going to be covering. So Diesel Bomber, you told me to cover some more local news for Washington State. I feel you, and I'm going to be covering it. So I am not going to be paying for no freaking paywall, though. Seattle homeless stimulus. That story is very interesting. Many people in Seattle are finding it hard to get their stimulus checks. So I do want to cover this because this is going to be very, very interesting. And this is from King 5. This is in Washington State. So let's go ahead and cover this story because I think these stories are pretty important because a lot of people have not gotten their stimulus yet. So we're going to get into this story first. All right, this is coming from King 5 News. This is a story that I've been following for a while. The fact that a lot of people still have not gotten stimulus checks, and many of those people are actually homeless. And you know, it doesn't really matter how you feel about the stimulus checks in particular. What matters is that people out there haven't gotten them yet, and many people out there who need them the most haven't gotten them. So some of those people who have lost their jobs through no fault of their own because the government shut down the economy, and because the government shuts down businesses, you know, saying that businesses who didn't pay them enough or didn't give them enough backroom donations, they got shut down, while businesses like Walmart, the big businesses like the defense contractors like Boeing and Raytheon, they were allowed to operate as business as usual. You know, you've had these defense companies who've been getting billions of dollars of the American taxpayers' dollar, while they are being allowed to operate carte blanche, you know, and creating weapons that kill and destroy people. But businesses who are local mom and pop shops who basically employ people who are local to the community, they had to figure shut down. So many of those people ended up homeless. And what happens when they end up homeless? Well, I can tell you for a fact, after much delay with my own stimulus, that many of those people still haven't gotten a stimulus check. So that's the story that I want to cover today. Seattle nonprofit Mary's Place helps unhoused families get stimulus checks. We know this is not going to pull people out of poverty, but it's going to help them for today and tomorrow. Right, because again, pulling people out of poverty takes a lot of effort. But I do appreciate these people actually trying to help in some way. This is goodwill. They are not getting any part of this freaking stimulus. I know about this nonprofit. They're doing God's work. Whatever God you worship, they're doing God's work. And that's why I want to give them a big shout out, because as soon as I saw that name, I just knew, they were up to something good. As many Americans wait for their stimulus payments to appear in their bank accounts, nonprofits are helping those experiencing homelessness to receive checks. Kara Bovey and her family are facing tough times. Not having an income, we weren't able to pay for gas, Bovey said. Her husband lost his job recently, and expenses piled up, especially with 5 children. Wow. So again, her husband, she was probably a stay-at-home mom, just classic things that happen all the time. Even if you don't agree with that, still she was a stay-at-home mom. They were family, and her husband lost his job. And so when you don't have an income that's coming in, and again, read this part here. Their youngest is 4 months old, man. You just lost your job and you got a 4-month-old baby. Man, that's got to be rough. The family was bolstered by news of a third stimulus payment, but worries set in trying to figure out how to track down their money. So again, during people's most desperate time, people like this, families like these people who have done nothing wrong. They're good people, American citizens. They got 5 children, man. Husband and wife, they're just trying to make it. And the government has been charging that man taxes. Taxes. The average congressman and U.S. senator makes over $170,000 a year. With travel expenses, food, all that paid. Jets, all that stuff. Helicopters, all that stuff. Chauffeurs, security, freaking detail, healthcare. They get pensions, they get all that stuff. But this family who's been paying for all this stuff, Americans just like Kara Bovey and her freaking husband, paying for these bastards in public office. Now when these families need their help the most, what do? They delay the freaking stimulus. They delay the stimulus, and people like this might need a 4th or 5th one. They might need a fourth or freaking 5th one. Coming from the street, we don't really have people that are, in that mindset of being able to work with electronics or even getting something like that set up, Bovey said. Seattle nonprofit Mary's Place has stepped in to help guests navigate the first, second, and third stimulus check rollout. We are right there beside them and working with them to change their addresses. Then for many of them, we'll help them track down those stimulus checks for those that are in shelter currently with us, said Marty Hartman, executive director of Mary's Place. Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing what they're doing. So what they're doing is they're taking people into the homeless shelter and allowing them to use that shelter as an actual address so that they can get that mail there, or using an alternate address, a place that you can obviously trust, and trying to get people stimulus, because a lot of those people don't have bank accounts and they don't have debit cards, but they can still receive physical checks. So if you can still receive a physical check, then you're gonna need somewhere to mail it, And if you're homeless, you probably don't have a freaking like the PO box. So what they're doing is absolutely necessary. A nonprofit helps women, children, and families transition out of homelessness. Hartman said the process is providing some temporary relief. That is, how can you criticize this, man? These are the organizations that I want the billions of dollars to go to. These are the organizations that I want my tax dollars to freaking go to. A nonprofit who is a non-government actor who is doing stuff like this, trying to help families, especially during a time of crisis for many of these families. Amazing work. Amazing work. For some, it is paying that down payment to get into an apartment and a new housing solution. We know that it's not going to pull some out of poverty, but it's going to help them for today and tomorrow, Hartman said. Bovey said she and her husband have now been able to save for their first and last month's rent and purchase a car. A huge weight off of our chests on having to save that money up. So that's really going to help. That's really going to help us get on our feet. Because 4-bedroom houses aren't cheap nowadays. So So you think, so you know, I think that has really saved us. I should say, Bovey said, that is that's an incredible story. So Mary's Place, I salute you, and I really do appreciate the organizations that help people during this time, because the government damn sure isn't gonna fucking do it, right? The government doesn't give a shit about any of these people. The government would just rather just let these people goddamn burn. They couldn't give a shit. Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, Josh Hawley, all these bastards, man, they couldn't give a damn. Joe Biden too, and Kamala, they couldn't give a damn. But organizations like this, who actually go into the local communities, and they actually get to actually know people. They get to know their struggles, and therefore they know what the community needs versus a bunch of government bureaucrats. Once again, Mary's Place, I salute you. Godspeed. All right, that's one live edit done, guys. Thank you very much for hanging with me on that one. I got to do a little bit of editing because I do stutter. I do stutter, but I actually do pretty well live. So anyways, guys, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's going to be at Devs Advocate. If you want to follow me on Facebook, the Devil's Advocate channel. You want to follow me on my Discord channel, The Inferno. I left a link in the chat. If you want to follow me on Twitch, it's FusePainter86, and also on YouTube, Devil's Advocate. So we got another story that's going to be lined up for you guys. I found two here that I thought was pretty interesting. There's a local story that's going to be closing here in Seattle that I thought was interesting, and I want to put a face on some of these businesses that are closing down. I want people to see this stuff because I want people to see what's happening to good people who have good companies who've done nothing wrong. Unbelievable. So I want you guys to see this, but let's go over to the chat here. Diesel Bomber says, yeah, I had to let my guys go. I did give them as much as I could afford as a thanks for understanding. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. Let's get into this story here, though. This story is about a local business that actually shut down here in Washington State, and I think that it's going to be a story that's going to resonate with a whole lot of people because this story is actually popular, and the fact that they actually closed down is pretty sad. All right, this is going to be a story from Washington State. This is going to be from the Seattle Times, man. It's devastating as a QFC store winds down. Neighbors and politicians thank employees criticize closure. Published on April the 22nd, 2021. This is sad. Another business that has just been a victim of this horrible virus, man. So many good businesses, so many lives ruined, so many lives changed forever. I mean, so many people added to the unemployment rolls. So many people who started businesses who were just trying to make it. Yet another one has bitten the dust here. Saturday will be the final day for the QFC in Seattle's Wedgewood neighborhood. And on Thursday afternoon, a somber crowd of soon-to-be former customers and neighbors, along with TV crews and a few political officials, gathered for a bittersweet send-off for the store's 51 employees. Wow. 51 people have just lost their jobs. 51 people has just lost their jobs. I mean, and you had TV crews, you had politicians out there. That's how you know this was a big deal, man. Wow, that is unbelievable. Shortly after 3 p.m., around a dozen employees, some with tears in their eyes, filed out of the front doors to a round of applause, warm words of thanks, and individual checks of $205.88, courtesy of a neighborhood fundraising effort. QFC is certainly a place where a lot of us found comfort and refuge over the last year, said Gabe Galanda, a Wedgewood resident who helped start the fundraising after hearing in February that QFC was closing its Wedgewood and Capitol Hill locations. And again, we thank the people behind us who made that possible. Man, that is... wow. It was a local store. People felt safe there. And I actually have been to the store. I've been to the store actually. I remember going here actually when I went to freaking Seattle. I think I've been here before actually. You know, and for what I understand about the store, it's one of the few places where it's kind of like a parlay point. No one really argues there. Like you have right wing politics, you got left wing politics, but no one does that there. It's a nice, calm, safe space, a nice treaty space where everyone pretty much got along. It kind of had, you know, from what I was reading when I had the live camera up, it kind of had the feeling of a barbershop. Everyone came there and they discussed the local news. You had people there who knew each other for years and years and years. Some people grew up from children and became adults going to that same store. And now it's closed. A QFC spokesman said all employees at both locations have been offered positions at other stores. But Thursday's event was also a broader lament over the loss of a local convenience. The nearest major grocery, a Safeway, is half a mile south and of another piece of local history. The location at the corner of 35th Avenue Northeast and Northeast 85th Street has been a grocery since 1959. When a trade well opened there, QFC took over the location in 2000. Wow. Since 1959, and now it's not going to be anything there, at least for the time being. Wow. So here's what one local person says here. This person's name is Alice Hall. She says, I'm not going to support a business that's going to give up on their customers like that. She's been a customer for 10 years. And she decided to not shop at QFC or Fred Meyer, which are both owned by Kroger, because of the closure. I don't understand. They're a mega corporation and they can't support the people once in a while? Yeah. But mega corporations don't care about us. But those are the people who they gave stimulus payments to. Those are the people who they bailed out. They didn't bail out the QFC here. They didn't bail out the local small stores. The stores that actually mean something. The stores that if you remove it, you remove a place, a safe space for people to calm down, for people to not be at each other's throats. You know, to some people, it's just a store. But to others, it's a meeting place. And it's so sad to see another local business, 51 employees. 51 employees without jobs. That sucks, man. Yeah, I hate covering stories that's like that, man. 51 employees, man. God, dog. You know, COVID-19, it's just... It's just really, really brutal. It's really, really brutal. It's been killing people. Killing people. Now, there's a little bit of a national news that I want to cover. I'm very curious about this one because we could have our first transgender governor of California. We could have our very first transgender governor of California. Seriously. I'm not joking with you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Because Caitlyn Jenner is running for governor in California. And some people don't know this, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. This is going to be pretty interesting because we might have our first transgender governor in California, and that would change American history. That would change American history. All right, guys, this is coming from NPR. Caitlyn Jenner announces run for California governor. Published on April 23rd, 2021. We got our first transgender governor because Caitlyn Jenner does have popularity. And Gavin Newsom is not popular. She has name recognition. She's not poor. And on top of that, depending on what her policies is, and depending on how appealing those are to the people of California who've been overtaxed. I mean, people have been taxed so bad. Let me explain to you how bad California taxes are, right? In case you don't actually get it. So it is so bad to the point where people have been paying their employees $15 a damn hour. And that's a relatively recent development. But even when the employees were being paid a lot less, therefore payrolls are lower, people were still having a hard time keeping the doors open. So they've left them to freaking Texas and into Arizona and to other states. Now there's this myth of a mass exodus of citizens. No. It's not so much the citizens, it's business owners who are doing this. Because there is a world of difference in operating a business in California and damn Texas. There is a world of difference in operating a business in California or Texas. But let's get into the story here. Caitlyn Jenner, the Olympic gold medalist with the reality show Family, announced Friday that she will run for governor of California. The state's Democratic governor, Gavin Newsom, is likely to face a recall election this year. Again, back to the whole recall thing. Gavin Newsom is facing a recall because there was this local conservative group who got these signatures. I mean, got a crap ton of signatures. I think it was like over 100,000. Like something just out of this world. That many people want Gavin Newsom gone because of some of the hypocrisy. You know, he's telling you to go and stay inside when he's allowed to go out to birthday parties and all kind of other local events with no mask on. He's telling you to sacrifice. Meanwhile, he ain't sacrificing. He has damn mansions. He's telling you to cut your resources. When I guarantee you, if you were to once again walk into one of his mansions, bruh, Exhibit would be proud because everything is pimped the fuck out in that motherfucker. Guaranteed you. Listen. Gavin Newsom doesn't even use cheap toilet paper to wipe his ass. Gavin Newsom doesn't even use cheap toilet paper to wipe his ass. Okay? Don't get it twisted. See, and people see shit like this because when people's businesses shut down, when they lose their jobs, when they lose their homes, when they can't pay their bills, when they can't afford food, when they can't afford health care, when they are still being abused by LAPD and the LA Sheriff's Department with their fucking police gangs, when they're still being shit on in terms of being a local business owner, in terms of being overtaxed, when their gun rights are being shit on left and right, when, once again, your police are just violating people's constitutional rights left and right. Gavin Newsom, you got a goddamn problem, and you ain't fixed none of that shit. None of it. That's why you're going to be facing a recall election. And that's why Caitlyn Jenner is going to whoop your ass. And you're seeing this now. You're seeing Matthew McConaughey in damn Texas, and he's giving Greg Abbott a run for his damn money. So, again, these damn celebrities are coming out. I mean, I'm very interested to see what Oprah and Dwayne Johnson, you know, The Rock, I want to see what he does. I want to see what the Undertaker, does, because I've heard that the Undertaker, the freaking wrestler, might run for freaking politics. Seriously. Will Smith. I mean, this stuff is happening. It's real. If I told you a decade ago that Caitlyn Jenner was going to run for California governor and have a serious shot at winning, you would laugh in my damn face. I would. Jenner, a 71-year-old Republican, said she has filed paperwork to run for the office. Californians want better and need better from their politicians, she wrote on Twitter. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Taking on entrenched Sacramento politicians and their special interests that fund them requires a fighter who isn't afraid to do what is right. I am a proven winner and the only outsider who can put an end to Gavin Newsom's disastrous time as governor. Ooh. Listen, say what you want. You know, I haven't seen her policy proposals, and I will say her because Caitlyn Jenner. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. If the person wants to be referred to as a woman or as their name, refer to them, you should just out of respect do that. You don't have to, but to be respectful, you should do that. But back to the main story here. It doesn't really matter if I see the policy proposals or not. Seeing just that statement, where's the freaking lie? Caitlyn Jenner is a proven winner, super rich, Olympic gold medalist, is an outsider. Gavin Newsom's time as governor has been pretty disastrous. There's a lot of special interest groups in freaking Sacramento. There are a whole lot of entrenched politicians. I mean, if I'm just reading the statement on face value, there's no lies there. There's no lies there. Jenner criticized Newsom's handling of the coronavirus pandemic, which has been unpopular with many in the state. Yeah, it's been unpopular. I remember this one crazy video where this one business, this food or restaurant type of business was being shut down, and they weren't allowed to have outdoor dining, even though they could actually socially distance and actually require face masks when you actually leave your particular table and just do the actual distancing for the actual outside eating with the tables. And this lady was crying in this particular video. But right across the street, you had a TV production that was allowed to continue, even though it was much of the same setup. I mean, you're talking about a restaurant that's serving food. Food is what people need to survive. They've got to eat. People have to drink. So that was a restaurant establishment because they do serve food there. And you're basically shutting them down. You're basically punishing them. But allowing a TV production in which I don't need to physically survive, but I do need food. You're allowing that to actually continue, and she caught it on camera. Stuff like that. I mean, I get it. If you are a local business owner in any part of California, if you are a business owner in Cali, period, I can get why you may hate Gavin Newsom. Because he's not reducing taxes. This man has done nothing but raise taxes, and the people who bear the brunt of that are the small business owners. Because the big mega corporations and freaking Silicon Valley, they have tax loopholes. They have accountants. They have accountants on accountants on accountants on accountants, and tax experts on tax experts, and lawyers on lawyers on lawyers, who can help them find these freaking loopholes. So that's what's happening to the small business. They're being destroyed right now. And I love that Caitlyn Jenner goes right into that before I even read the very, very next part. Small businesses have been devastated because of the over-restrictive lockdown. An entire generation of children have lost a year of education and have been prevented from going back to school, participating in activities, or socializing with their friends, she wrote. That is, you can't argue with that. She's hitting it right on the head. I mean, those are the main issues that people in California are complaining about. Small businesses have been screaming at Gavin Newsom. They've been screaming at him. Listen, we can operate safely, but don't kill our businesses, man. Don't destroy our fucking lives here. And you have children who were out of school, do distance learning, do something though. But for the longest time, before they were doing distance learning, kids were just out of school. Just out of school. You have children, right? You have children already in this country, believe it or not, who can't read and write by the time they are a damn teenager. I've seen it. And you pull this shit? Kids just want to go outside and play and have fun. They can wear a mask. But you've had psycho cops there shutting down damn playgrounds. You've treated your citizens like they are prisoners. Because of your high taxation, you're working for a small fraction of your wages as compared to what you could possibly make. Then you're working to pay those taxes, because if you don't, you're homeless. You live in a pretty much a damn police state because the LAPD is out of their goddamn minds, and LA Sheriff's Department don't even get me goddamn started. It's just like living in a state that's a fucking prison. It might as well be a damn prison. It might as well be. So I get why any business owner feels like Gavin Newsom is a goddamn tyrant, and why they're giving someone like Caitlyn Jenner a chance. And I would be honored. You know, say what you want, call it a freaking Republican. I better not hear anyone bitch about it, because I want the first transgender governor. I do. Because there are some Democrat governors who are actually good. Gavin Newsom is not one of them. Just like Andrew Cuomo. Let's keep it a buck. And if we get our first transgender in office, it doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or Republican. Let's just get one in there. That would be amazing if Caitlyn Jenner is the one that kicks out Gavin Newsom. That would be freaking amazing. Because everything that I'm reading so far sounds exactly like what I've been hearing people from California say. And she's not some hardcore right winger. She's actually a more moderate one. She's more of a Arnold Schwarzenegger type, you know? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was a Republican, you know, and he still is. But he's not exactly Marjorie Taylor Greene or Josh Hawley or Matt Gaetz. He's not that kind of Republican, you know. So I like the fact that Caitlyn Jenner wants to come into the fray. And even though I'm pretty sure I won't agree with a lot of her politics, that doesn't matter. I want the first transgender governor. We have a first transgender person who's in office. I think it was Rachel Levine. You know, got our first one there. We need a governor. Getting, you know, the first woman of color as a vice president. First transgender in federal office, in actually heading a freaking department. And then our first transgender governor. Wouldn't that be amazing to all happen in the same year? Wouldn't that be incredible to happen in the same year? Same year. That's called progress. So, Caitlyn Jenner, Godspeed. And Gavin Newsom, please, I need your sorry ass out of office yesterday. Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. It really was. To see Caitlyn Jenner kicking Gavin Newsom out of office, that would be amazing. I would love it personally. I would love it. I would. Listen, the day that happens, I don't even care what the goddamn politics is, but the day that happens, oh, I'm live streaming it. I'm live streaming it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, there's a bad cop, no donut that's coming up. This one's gonna be pretty spicy. So I want you to get ready for this. I'm reading the wow. This one's I just think I should just let you see it, man. But let's go read the comment first. Diesel Bomber says anything is better than what they have already. Plus they supposed to have an Olympic athlete bonus. Yeah, I would love to see a transgender governor. That would be freaking great because it makes the next one that much more easier to get into office. This one is gonna be a little spicy though. This is gonna be a bad cop, no donut, man. read the young title. I'm gonna let you take it in for a second. By the way, guys, before we get into the story, 420 smoke 'em if you got 'em. 420 smoke 'em if you got 'em. This one's precious. Because I have a hard time believing that sometimes these people even exist. You know, I have a hard time believing it sometimes, you know, because the reason why I say that, the reason why I said I sometimes have a hard time believing these people even exist is because they're police officers. They're supposed to be the example, right? The example. They're supposed to be the criminals. And the worst part about a criminal is if they're a police officer who should know how to avoid getting caught. What we find oftentimes is that just like doctors are the worst patients and nurses are the worst patients, cops are the worst criminals. Because I think what happens is, because they are police officers, they have a sense of superiority. Like, even if they catch me, the thin blue wall is going to protect me. Well, that thin blue wall, I said it more than a decade ago, that thin blue wall can't last. Here's why I say it couldn't last. Because the internet exists. It doesn't matter what manner of bullshit that you push. The internet never forgets, and the internet is ultimately honest. So see, that's why even though you get people out there who make 1 million stock accounts or run a bunch of bots and try to get like downvotes of videos, you're not fooling the internet. People can still interpret things the way that they're going to interpret it. So before 20 spoke, we forgot him before we get into this story. Oh, man. By the way, if you have a problem with me smoking on camera, you have a problem with liberty, and you probably shouldn't be here. Because this is the Pitchfork podcast, Freedom and Liberty Radio. So, we're going to get into this story. This one's going to be hot and spicy. Oh, my God. Before we get into that, we're going to test our freaking soundboard. Oh, my God.
You're about to experience a nigga moment. That's bullshit. Stop lying.
Enough from the clown. Seems to me a strange thing. Nigga, that's that bullshit.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
Give your meat a good old rub. That's
what?
Nice and hot. Hot and spicy meat. Yeah, boy.
Bruh.
All right, so we're going to get into this story. Let's get to it. All right, so I got one hell of a bad cop, no donut for you. 7 Lynn police officers placed on leave as department probes possible drug use, inappropriate tests. Oh my God, this is coming from the Boston Globe.
You're about to experience a nigga moment.
Bruh.
Okay, so let's get to the story. 7 Lynn police officers have been placed on leave while the department investigates reports of possible drug use and inappropriate text messages, authorities said Friday. Oh my God. What? Okay, let me. 7? Wait, hold on. Not one, not fucking 1, ha ha. Not 2, ha ha. Not 3, ha ha. Not 4, ha ha. Not even 5, ha ha. Not even 6, ha ha. But 7, ha ha. Yeah. Bro. What kind of fucking joke is this? What is this? Like I guarantee you, right? No bootlicker is gonna cover this goddamn story. I guarantee you, no bootlicker is covering this damn story. What is this? The department confirmed the investigation in a statement released Thursday night. None of the officers involved have been identified. The Lynn Police Department recently received information from another law enforcement agency regarding allegations of inappropriate conduct by several officers, the statement read. These officers were placed on administrative leave and an investigation was immediately opened. So it was another law enforcement agency. Other law enforcement officers who discovered 7 other officers were using drugs and had some inappropriate text. Oh my God.
Bruh.
What is this? What the fuck is this? Lieutenant Michael Kamek, a department spokesman, confirmed in a separate email that 7 officers have been placed on leave and that a probe was launched after one officer was arrested in a domestic violence case out of Salem. Wait, hold on. So we're not even talking about just drug use and inappropriate text. Now we're talking about fucking domestic violence. Oh my God. How much worse is this story gonna get? What is this? What? The resolution of that case wasn't immediately clear Friday morning. Kamek said the ongoing internal probe also involves possible drug use by the officers. The case also involves alleged text messages, according to the department statement. Wait, when I read the headline, I said, okay, so possible drug use and inappropriate text. Okay, yes, they're probably going to get fired, but there's probably not going to be any criminal charges. If it's just like drug use or inappropriate text, there's nothing. Domestic violence. Why didn't they put that shit in the damn headline? Like Boston Globe. What? I mean, I guess I kind of get it, because you can only put but so much in the damn headline because there's just so much shit here. The Lynn Police Department Professional Standards Division is conducting the investigation, which includes the use of inappropriate language used by 2 officers in a private text conversation. The statement said the content of the messages have not been disclosed. The investigation remains active, and the police have also alerted prosecutors to the probe, officials said. The Lynn Police Department has spoken to the Essex County District Attorney's Office regarding the matter and will conduct a transparent investigation into the conduct, the statement said. Carrie Kimball, a spokeswoman for District Attorney Jonathan Blodgett's office, said the matter initially came to the attention of authorities in early December when a Lynn officer was arrested for allegedly assaulting a pregnant woman. Whoa, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait. So a Lynn officer assaulted a pregnant woman. Wow.
Nigga, that's that bullshit.
That is amazing. So while George Floyd is being judged for what he did, this officer here, a person with a badge, is pulling this crap that is now linked to 7 officers for possible drug use and inappropriate text. I would love to see. Wouldn't you love to be a computer hacker or a fly on the wall to find out what those texts said? What made them so inappropriate? Well, I tell you, man. I tell you, inquiring minds would love to know. I'll tell you what. But let's keep reading. Let's see how crazy this actually get. Right. She said prosecutors eventually determined they did not have enough evidence to prove those assault and battery charges, so they dropped the case on April the 12th. But in the course of that investigation, Kimball said, the district attorney's office uncovered possible evidence of unrelated misconduct by certain Lynn police officers. So while they investigated one scumbag, they found other scumbag. Bro, this is just getting, oh man, this is just getting crazier. This office provided this information to the Lynn Police Department, which initiated an internal investigation into the matter, Kimball said. He said prosecutors passed along the information April 13th. Kimball said Blodgett's office would not comment further Friday as the Lynn Police Department's investigation remains active and ongoing. Lynn Mayor Thomas M. McGee said in a separate statement that he's worked during his tenure to build trust with the community and to have an accountable administration. There is certainly more work to be done, including to eradicate systemic racism, McGee said. Furthermore, I want to be clear that illegal behavior by employees will not be tolerated under my administration. He said the probe will be handled with due diligence and in full compliance with the law. At the conclusion of the investigation, where appropriate, the officers involved will be held accountable and action will be taken. So this is not the first time they've had some bad press. This is going to be interesting. So let's go ahead and just get you a nice little presser here. Let me allow me to prep your ears.
You're about to experience a nigga moment.
And the internal review is the second round of bad press for the department since last July, when Blockett's office announced the appointment of a special prosecutor to investigate allegations that a white former Lynn police officer beat a black man held in custody in June 2020.
Bruh.
You have one officer investigated for domestic violence for hitting a pregnant woman. You have another officer who beat a black man who was held in custody. You have 7 other officers who might be using drugs while being police officers and having some text messages that were oh so spicy, apparently. Oh my God. What do you do with this? In a July 2020 statement, you gotta get ready for this one. In a July 2020 statement, Blackett said he tapped Daniel Bennett, a former state public safety boss, to examine allegations that former officer Matt Carpenter used excessive force on a 32-year-old Tufts University cook. A cook. Not exactly a hard criminal. Victor White said Copinger pummeled him inside a police station holding cell when White refused to take off his sanitary mask. The June 16 incident, which was captured on video, sparked an internal probe. Carpenter's resignation and protested Lynn over allegations of police brutality. What did I read here? I'm sorry for all the stuttering and the freaking struggling to get through, but if you were reading this, you would struggle too, man. What the fuck am I reading here? What is this? What is this? Bro, if you ever need a reason to say ACAB, fucking ACAB, man. Because these are some cops who don't deserve no damn donuts, bro. What? Listen, I want to give you guys a quick body count here. I want to give you guys a body count. Before we get into any of this, I want to give you guys a body count of what you're about to see here. You're about to see one officer who was on leave for domestic violence. Another officer who beat a person while in custody. There was a video. It sparked outrage and protest. The officer resigned. And then 7 other officers who were placed on leave for possible drug use and inappropriate text. Bad cop, no fucking donut. Yeah, so what I did, I recorded that towards the end so I can use that towards the beginning of the video whenever I get into the thing there. But yeah, that was a wild story. That was a wild story. Let's get into the comments here. These Obama says, looks like these guys watched Train Day too many times. I wonder who was trying to be Denzel. Yo. Yeah, they were trying to be Denzel, man. That was wild, man. That was fucking wild. Oh my God. That was fucking wild. Oh my gosh, that was wild. So, give me a second. Let me do something for my dog real quick. He's crying because he can't get to his freaking toy. What's wrong? What's wrong? We can turn on here. Lord Jesus. That was a wild story I read there, man. That was You got a story for TMZ, man? Oh boy. Oh boy, this is it's coming out of Orange County, guys. So this is gonna be a wild one. Get ready for this one. Get ready for this one. This is gonna be a wild one. TMZ. Before we get into that, we're gonna have to take a little bit of a smoker. So 420 smoker if you got him. 420 smoker if you got him. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see here. Let me go to the live scene real quick. All right, so live scene's open. All right, so this story is gonna be kind of wild. This story is gonna be kind of wild. Cops stop fellow officer from punching handcuffed woman. Punching cop placed on leave, on paid leave. So that's oh man, that's a pretty wild story. Let me see if I can find a better one, because that's it's slowing down my damn computer. TMZ is killing my computer right now. Also placed on leave. I want to cover that story. I definitely want to cover that one. I definitely want to cover that one, without question. Okay. All right, here we go. This is from ABC News right here. So, boy, this is gonna be pretty crazy. I got a feeling it's gonna be quite. It's gonna be crazy, man. I got a feeling it's gonna be a pretty wild video. I got a feeling it's gonna be a wild video. I got a feeling it's gonna be a wild video.
¿Qué hizo?
Okay. All right, so apparently some cops in the OC were placed on leave for this video. A single cop was. So let's go ahead and get the last scene going. Before we get to that, how's the puppy's weight going? By he's a bomber. He's about the same. He's a big boy, but I'll show you a little bit later. Let's get into this live video here, because I want you guys to see this. It's a pretty wild video, man. It's a pretty wild video here. All right. All right, so I got a pretty disturbing bad cop note donut for you from ABC 7. Westminster officer placed on leave after video shows him punch woman during arrest. We're gonna look at that video. I want you guys to see this, man. This is pretty wild. I'm gonna tell you, it is pretty wild what you're about to see, because the way this cop beats on this woman, it's just disturbing. You know, it really is. It's really disturbing, and it should bother you if you are a decent person. It should really bother you if you are a decent person. You know, it's craziness. It is just some gangster thug behavior, and this police officer is abusing a citizen. And I guarantee you, there's still going to be some bootlicker out there who's going to try to justify it. You know, because that's what we do to American citizens now. We don't stand against abuse. We try to justify it, because that's what's happening so often in this particular country. So I want you guys to see this. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Big story tonight. A woman in handcuffs punched in the face by a Southern California police officer. Fellow officers step in to pull him back. Our Jory Rand hearing from an eyewitness. He's live in Westminster with more. Jory.
Mark, we're not really used to seeing this. Officers stepping in to stop another officer from doing something they think may have crossed the line into.
So, did you hear that? Other officers had to step in to pull this man off of her. Unfucking believable. Wow. Like imagine how bad you have to be to have your coworkers pull you off of this woman. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
The night that officer is now under investigation. Tonight, a Westminster police officer is on leave after this video surfaced of him punching a woman in handcuffs in the face. And what makes this incident so noteworthy is that two fellow officers stop him, physically block him from landing any more blows.
He intervened and stopped him, and they made him go to the other. They made him back out from the scene.
Jesus
Sandy
Christ.
Armenta shot the video Wednesday afternoon. In it, you can see the woman, 34-year-old Xiomara Garcia, stumble as officers try to stand her up. She then kicks the officer near his groin, and that's when he punches back. Her brother tells us she suffers from mental illness.
Jesus.
So we know she has schizophrenia, and she's bipolar, or at least one of the cops did.
Wow. So they actually knew that she had a mental illness, and they were still doing this, man? I mean, but Jesus, you don't punch a woman. She's already handcuffed, bro. And she's a woman. You got two grown fucking men there. Why do two grown and another officer, a third officer there? Why do you need to punch a woman in the fucking face when she's already handcuffed, bro? And he didn't hit her once. He hit her multiple times. And the way that you know this man was going over the line is that his co-workers were stopping him. Jesus, man.
Police were first called after Garcia was accused of assaulting a woman in the street. Her own brother then basically making the police's case for them.
When we opened the door, they're trying to put handcuffs on her, and she was resisting. They're walking her out. And when we got out of the walkway, that's when she started kicking the shins, and that's when they threw her to the plants.
Doorbell video caught officers picking Garcia back up out of the flower bed and walking her towards the street. This isn't her first run-in with police. Back to her brother for the history.
I guess she assaulted another Asian lady, but they're trying to make her apologize because they know she has mental disorders. And that time, I guess she assaulted the cops too, right here in the front.
This rare instance of officers restraining one of their own comes just days after a Minnesota jury convicted former officer Derek Chauvin in the murder of George Floyd. 3 other officers stood around as Chauvin knelt on the dying man's neck for 9 minutes, and they did nothing.
Yeah, so it's very, very nice to see officers stepping in now. You know, it's very, very nice to see officers stepping in. But, you know, let's actually get into the main body of this, because I'm very, very curious to see the backstory of this, man. I mean, you've definitely heard what her brother said. You know, it is not her first run-in with, like, you know, law enforcement, but she has a mental illness, so I would kind of expect that. Westminster, California, KABC. A Westminster police officer has been placed on paid administrative leave after video surfaced showing him punching a woman twice in the head as he struggled to subdue her during an arrest. During the incident, 2 officers were trying to detain a woman who was accused of assault and believed to be under the influence of a controlled substance, with a third officer standing nearby. As they stood her up from the curb, she appeared to be struggling and fell to the ground. Her hands are cuffed behind her back, but her legs are restrained, and she appears to be kicking, possibly hitting one officer, and that officer then strikes her 2 times in the face with his fist, a closed fist. The other 2 officers restrained him, and he backed off as the 2 officers worked to get the struggling woman under control. The Westminster Police Department says the incident happened Wednesday around 4 p.m. in the 14,100 block of Locust Street when police were called about an assault. So again, it is she has a history of multiple assaults, but again, when you are schizophrenic, that can happen. And I think that we may have to consider some other alternative things with this woman. But again, punching her in the face you know, when she's already handcuffed, that's not going to help. That's not going to help. And it was just unbelievable. He's just sitting there beating the woman in the face, and it's very, very nice to see that the Chauvin verdict has caused at least some police officers to try to be more careful. Granted, there's been some things that's definitely happened since the verdict, but it is nice to see that some officers will try to stop them. That doesn't make them non-bastards, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for the Chauvin verdict, if it wasn't for so much focus on policing, they would have not only would they not have stopped them, they probably would have even joined in. But at least on camera, they're trying to be better. At least on camera, anyways. Yeah, that was a wild story. Yeah, they sitting there beating that freaking woman. It's like, okay, but she's already handcuffed. Like, well, she's freaking kicking, but she's handcuffed. You know, you've already you got multiple grown men. You don't need to freaking do this. If you've got multiple grown men, you don't need to do this. No, you don't. No, you don't. I can't justify that. I don't like it when multiple grown men, you know, have to get that rough with a woman. I just, especially one that's mentally ill. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. You can't make me, you know, you can't make me change my mind on that. Right? There's all right, so we're gonna cover another bad cop, no donut. Let's get back into the live stream. All right, so I got a bad cop, no donut for you. This is from KEZI, ABC News 9. SPD officer under investigation for explicit photos, Springville, Oregon. A Springfield police officer is under criminal investigation for allegedly sharing explicit photos of a former police trainee without her permission. Wow. So basically, this is, he took some photos of a former police trainee and just decided to just disperse them. A complaint filed to the Department of Public Safety Standards and Training, DPSST, alleges Officer Robert Weaver bragged to other officers about having a sexual relationship with the trainee and created a fake phone account and texted another officer a nude photo of her torso. Weaver was placed on paid administrative leave on April 7th, 2021, according to documents obtained through a public records request. 3 other officers, including a sergeant, have been placed on paid administrative leave in relation to misconduct allegations involving an unnamed female employee, according to the documents. Whoa, wait a minute. So that's actually more stuff. So aside from this officer, name is Robert Weaver, who gave out a nude photo of a trainee that he was having a sexual relationship with, also through a public records request, we've also discovered that 3 other officers, including a sergeant, were placed on leave because of misconduct allegations involving an unnamed female employee. Man, you got some problems in that office with officers doing some foul things with damn women. You got some problems with that, buddy. Police Chief Richard Lewis is also on paid administrative leave, accused of mishandling paperwork after he fired the trainee last year. So the police chief is on what? Wait a minute. So that's 1, 2, 3. You got 4 officers, including a sergeant, plus the chief himself, all on leave. KEZI obtained these documents as a result of public records requests that was originally denied by the city of Springville. KEZI then appealed to the Lane County District Attorney's Office, which ordered the documents to be turned over. KEZI has also reached out to Weaver for a comment, but we have not heard back yet. Wow. That is insane. So the police chief is on leave. for mishandling paperwork after he fired the trainee who is having her nude photos passed around by Officer Robert Weaver, and he was bragging about it too, bragging about a sexual relationship with this woman. Again, just disgusting behavior. Created a fake phone account and texted another officer nude photos. Right? And you had 3 other officers, including the sergeant, who's placed on paid administrative leave for misconduct involving an unnamed female employee. Wow. Just unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Just disgusting behavior. I mean, it is behavior that you would expect out of a frat type of frat boy type of environment. You wouldn't expect this from actual police officers who are supposed to be trained professionals, but apparently, from what I've seen from these officers throughout my entire life, they're garbage. All cops are bastards, because there's no way this kind of stuff just keeps happening and nobody knew. You have a police chief who's on leave right now because he knew and he mishandled paperwork. It's just you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Unfucking believable, man. Crazy stuff. I mean, you just see stuff like if you see stuff like that, man, it just makes you question your government, question everything around you. Which is, to be honest with you, you should question your goddamn government. This is gonna be. I think it's gonna be it for me today. That's gonna be it for me today. I think actually, I got one more story in me. This was from TMZ. All right, so I got a story for you. This one's
You're about to experience a nigga moment.
This one's gonna be if you have a drink near you, you got a little bit of green. I would go ahead and just go ahead and indulge. Capitol insurrection. Alleged rioter brags on Bumble, gets banned from app. This is from TMZ. Oh my god. This is gonna be a special one, man. This is gonna be a special boy. Sources close to the situation tell TMZ Chapman was also flagged on Bumble by another user and he was a part of a group of alleged rioters officially banned from the app. We were told Chapman was banned from Bumble the day after he was reported by another user back in January. A guy on Bumble didn't just strike out with a woman while trying to impress her. He got arrested for it because his pickup line involved the Capitol riot, according to prosecutors. Wait, no. Okay, according to legal docs, a man named Robert Chapman began chatting with a woman on Bumble a few days after the January 6th Capitol riots and told her, "I did store in the Capitol," adding, "I made it all the way into Statuary Hall." Here's a screenshot of this. All right, Robert says, "This is Robert. Those weren't my questions. Those weren't answers to my questions. I did store in the Capitol. I made it all the way into Statuary Hall. Did an interview with Robert O'Mara of the Washington Post. Also did online interview with Jess Brevins of the Wall Street Journal." She says, "We are not a match." Oh my god. That is a spicy. That
Give me a good old rub.
You know, just
That's it.
gotta give it a good old rub.
Hot.
You know?
Spicy meat. Yeah, boy.
That is precious. Yes. The feds say after he boasted a bit more about doing interviews with the media, the woman simply replied, "We are not a match." And according to the docs, she turned him in by providing a screenshot of their convo to law enforcement. Based on the tip and some additional info about Chapman allegedly shared on Facebook, the authorities say they learned he goes by Robert Brick on social media, and they discovered several more potentially incriminating posts. Prosecutors say in one Facebook post, Robert said he was leaving the rotten apple of NYC to head down to the district of criminality to enjoy some much needed, some much deserved entertainment. Wow. Prosecutors say that a day later, the feds say that he posted a photo of himself at the riots along with the caption, "I'm fucking inside the Capitol."
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
When it comes to the political right, and they're idiots, I struggle sometimes. I struggle trying to understand some of these people because there are people out there who still support what these idiots have done and will still give people like me hell for. Chapman's now been arrested and charged with trespassing and disorderly conduct on restricted government property. He is one of more than 370 people arrested for involvement in the Capitol riot, but he's one of the few who was nabbed through a dating app. Congrats. Denied and busted. This man here. You bragged about being at the Capitol riot. And the woman you was trying to get the cootie from turned you in. Oh man, that is just precious. That is just precious. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for the Pitchfork podcast today, guys. Hit like button, hit share button, let other people know I make this this content. Join the Discord. Until next time, horns up, peace out, good night, and good luck. By the way, Diesel Bomber, thank you for joining in. Thank you everybody else for joining in. I salute you.